it's going to pop up on, just to make sure it's on the main one here.
Hmm. It's really it's been interesting adding all the protein, which I've been doing, and I feel really. It's like I feel like I'm really eating a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it's perfect. So we're live now.
Okay.
So I think it's working here. I want to make sure. Yeah. So do you mind, Carolyn? So first of all, just for the people that are new here watching this, this is a coffee with Maxim, just new thing that I'm giving a shot. It's literally 6:30 in the morning for me, so that's why still have my morning face. Yep. I got my cup of mushroom coffee. I think there's like ashwagandha, lion's mane in here, and a little dash of unsweet almond milk. So just for the new people that are new to me or they're going to be watching this, this is very casual. This is not like a structured podcast. This is I'm here to answer questions for anyone that wants to jump on the link. And the only way to have the link is to join the newsletter, which Carolyn, I'm going to assume that you're on because that's how you got the
Hmm.
link to get here. So for
Yes.
anyone listening that wants to join the next one, there's a link down below in the description where you can sign up for that. It's absolutely free. And yeah, so Carolyn, do you mind kind of re-asking your question from before we start recording?
Sure. I have heard that all we need in a plant-based diet is like 10 to 15% of protein, but your philosophy and your nutritionists recommend, I thought it was like 22% of the number of calories for protein to, enhance the weight loss and the muscle gain or
Yeah, so we don't do
the fat loss, I
percentages.
mean.
Yeah, so we don't do percentages and when we coach people.
Okay.
Um, the reason being is because so two things, because I know that that initial question came from like RIP and kind of the world of like whole food plant-based eating, which I'll be honest with you, I agree with them. It just depends what your goal is, right? So
Mhm.
if your goal is to just be healthy and not really worry about body recomposition, you're not like actively trying to build more lean muscle. You're not actively trying to burn more fat and you just want to kind of stay healthy. Absolutely. Right. The whatever I think it's like 10, 15% or something. Um,
Mhm.
I think it's also because of the work that his dad did, which again, I agree with if your goal is to just be healthy. Now, if you want to be healthy and super fit, then it's like a different conversation if we're actively trying to build muscle and lose fat. So when we look at the studies done on um, fat loss, lean muscle building on a plant-based lifestyle. Unfortunately, I don't think they're like whole food plant-based, all the studies that they've done, but they'll say if you're someone that is exercising at least 3 times a week, which is what you want if you're trying to improve body composition, you need around 1.2 gram to 1.6 gram per kg of body weight. So let's just say you weigh 150 pounds and you divide it by 2.2. That gives you your weight in kgs, right? Because you want the kg. And let's just say you do smack in the middle between 1.2 and 1.6, you do times 1.4. So that would mean that if you weigh 150 pounds, you would need to consume 95 grams of protein per day. Now the ratio of that is relative to how many calories you're going to consume. So if you start off your fat loss at, you know, 2000 calories, well, the protein might be a smaller percentage of that. But the thing is, when you're trying to improve your body composition, you're slowly going to go into more into a calorie deficit, right? So we can ensure that you don't plateau, that you always make progression. But the goal is to keep the 95 grams of protein constant. And so if you're eating 2000 calories at 95 grams of protein, and then over time we lower you and you finish your fat loss at 1600 calories, well, you still need to consume 95 grams of protein. So at that 1600 calorie mark with 95 grams of protein, the protein will be a higher percentage of your calories because you have less calories, right? Versus if you were at
Mhm.
2000. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what was that formula again? You divide your weight by 1.2 or
2.2, just to have
um,
basically just to have your weight in kg. So I don't know the equation in pounds. So just to have your
okay.
weight in kg, and then you can do times 1.4. That way you kind of smack in the middle of the range. So 95 is pretty easy to hit. Like you do a little bit of tofu tempeh, some beans, some grains in there, and it happens pretty rapidly.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And also like the percentage thing, the reason why I'm not a fan of it is because um again, let's just say you're eating 2000 calories and you want to do 10%. That would be 200 calories, and then a gram of protein is 4 calories. So 200 calories that would be allocated to protein at 10% divided by 4 is 50 grams of protein per day, right? But if you're at the end of your body recomposition and you're at 1600 calories, that's 160 calories for your protein. So that means you'd be at 40 grams of protein at the end of your body recomposition phase.
Mm.
Well, that's not great because your protein went down. So we know from science that if your goal is to improve body composition, you do have to go into calorie deficit. But when you go into calorie deficit, your body is more prone to losing lean muscle tissue. And if you lose that, basically you end up looking like skinny fat, flabby, and pudgy, basically. Because you don't want to lose muscle, right? And then retain the fat. So the things that allow your body to retain as much lean muscle mass as possible and put on a little bit while you're in a deficit is going to be two things. One is going to be strength training, so the stimulation of the muscle to basically require it to stick around, right? To give it a reason to stick around. So we need strength training when we're going to a deficit. And then second, we need the necessary amount of building blocks to recover the tears that are going to happen from the strength training. And so if there's not enough of, protein is basically just a bunch of amino acids together. The amino acids are the building block to the recovery process of when you're going to go do strength training. Obviously, it does way more than that, but in this scenario, those amino acids are going to help the recovery from the strength training that you're going to do. And so those are the two most essential things when it comes to retaining and building lean muscle tissue in a body recomposition. So if the protein's too low, there's not enough to recover it. Your body goes in a catabolic state and you start to lose lean muscle mass actually while you're exercising, which is very counterproductive to having that lean and tight body that most people want to have.
Okay.
Yeah. Complex, but simple.
Yes, a little complex. Um, Plus, when you do that TDEE calculation,
Yeah.
um, the big question is, besides how much you weigh, what if you know what your BMI is. I think that's one of the questions.
Yeah.
Is your lifestyle? Are you sedentary? Are you light active? And it's like I'm not. I wasn't sure exactly which one to pick because I just started the 3 days a week strength training with your fit vegan workouts,
Yeah.
which are
So I
great.
picked a 3 day.
Yeah, so 3 days. So I didn't know if that, but I still felt like I'm more sedentary than light active. It's a fine line trying to figure out which where I fall into.
Nah, honestly, people make it out to be more complex than what it is. Honestly, you're in the, it says like moderate exercise, like 3 to 5 times a week.
Mhm.
You fall in that category. As long as if you're strength training 3 times a week, we just put people on moderate because the idea is because you've, started to actively take on this transformation, like, we want to get our steps in throughout the day, which is going to help us burn more calories. We're going to do our strength training 3 times a week. Just doing these two things is definitely putting you in that category. I would say if you're strength training 3 times a week for 30 minutes and then you're laying in bed for the rest of the day, every day of the week, then okay, probably not. But you're
No,
probably
not.
moving around to go grocery shopping, work, and do all those things.
Yeah, and I just started taking dance classes, so that's a lot of fun. That's
Yeah, that's perfect. It's
so
cardiovascular exercise. Yeah, you're definitely in the 3 to 5, which would be considered that like moderate level of activity.
okay.
Yeah, it's,
Thanks.
yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. A big thing with like, you're just making me think about that when you ask those questions is people are trying to be very precise. It's like, do I actually fall in that category or am I the one below? Um, and
Mhm.
people are trying to be very precise with like the nutrition, right? We don't get people to like grab a scale and weigh their food. We'll say like, hey, eat one medium sweet potato, eat a cup of rice. Like we don't need you to weigh the cup of rice. We don't need you to weigh the sweet potato. It's a darn sweet potato. If you go to Costco and it's this big, it's not a medium sweet potato, Like you realistically know what it is. If you grab a cup of rice and it's a heaping cup of rice, you can't even see your hand, like you're probably lying to yourself. It's not it's not like an actual cup of rice. Um, the body isn't like the body is really smart. And when we're looking to improve body composition, we're just looking to have constant variables. Because if we know that we're eating roughly about, I just a random example, 2000 calories, and we're strength training 3 times a week, then we can observe how the body responds after a week or 2 weeks. If your body loses weight, great. Let's just continue with that. There's no need to change anything because you're heading in that direction that you want to. If the body is stuck, then let's make a small adjustment, right? By making a small adjustment from two constant variables, your body will have something to adjust to. Because what most people do is they eat a certain amount of calories. Like people, this is what people do. They'll severely cut their calories to a level that's unsustainable and they're hungry and they have cravings and they're hangry all the time. And eventually they can't deal with it anymore. And then they eat a bunch of food. And then the next day they feel bad that they eat a bunch of food. So then they undereat. And then they undereat for a few days and then they're starving and then they overeat. And they're just playing this like, we'll go down to 1200 calories and 2000 calories and then 1200 calories and 2000 calories. The body is not accustomed to like a flat amount, right? And so when we
Hmm.
make an adjustment, we go down to 1700, it does nothing to your body because your body's used to varying between like 2000 and 1200 basically. All right.
Yeah.
Um, so we need that to be constant. Same thing for the exercise. Like you'll never ever be able to be precise with the exercise because some week you might just sleep better and exercise harder, which would make you burn more calories. And some week it might just be terrible weather, things are stressful in your life. You might not work out as hard, but you still get the workout in. You might burn a little bit less calories. Like we don't need to worry about that because those little changes in variable are not big enough for us to obsess over them. So it's literally just like, let's eat the food, be as precise as we can. Let's do the exercise. Let's do that for 1 to 2 weeks. Let's see how the body responds and then make an adjustment from there, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And don't trust those freaking trackers like the Apple Watch or Fitbit or anything. Like there's studies show that they can be like 50 to 150% off on the calorie burn. So definitely whatever your watch says does not mean that you're allowed to eat that amount of food extra for the day because you burnt it. It's
Yeah.
accounted within, the general calculation of use being of a moderate exercise level, right? Of 3 to 5.
Hmm. Yeah, I never include the what it says my exercise calories that I earned to
Mhm.
I never used that. It's like, okay, I can eat more because of that. I don't include that.
Yeah, oh, some people do that. They're like, oh yes, I basically it's the let me exercise so I can eat shit food philosophy for people, or just eat more food. But it doesn't work that way because those devices are highly inaccurate. Um,
Oh.
yeah, very highly inaccurate. Like if you really wanted to know the most precise way, you'd probably have to spend thousands of dollars and go into a lab and train in a chamber when they can calculate the heat expenditure of your body and the air you're breathing. And yeah, so it's just let's just keep it simple. Let's just do
Yeah.
those two things. Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any other questions besides the protein?
Um, no, uh, I'm just really enjoying this program, and I really
Nice.
enjoy our the all the different Zoom meetings you have every week scheduled. I think
Yeah.
that's so helpful to keep me motivated and to keep me going on the right track. That it feels terrific. That I'm staying focused, and I love the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday strength training. It takes me longer than 30 minutes to do it, to do the
Yeah.
3 sets. But
Watching the
but
videos.
yeah, I might pause it and quickly, now how do I do this reverse grip row or that kind of thing. But it feels really good when I get done and I don't sit there and go, oh, I gotta work out. Oh no, today's the day I get to work out. It's
Yeah.
a different mindset for me. And so I'm excited about this. I never really heard about body recomposition until you talked about it. And I think it's a really good thing because I feel like at my stable weight, but I think I'm that skinny fat person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
looking
I
forward
think
to the change.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of people come to us because of that. I think I just posted a video like yesterday on
Hmm.
how to stop being skinny fat over 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, at first like yeah, the workouts might take a little bit longer because obviously, you're watching the videos and I've recorded like over 100 of them and I'm working on
Hmm.
recording more of them. Um,
Hmm.
and it's like starting a new job, right? You start a new job and then
Yeah.
your employer's like, hey, here's the paperwork for this. Here's a system that you use to do this task. And at first you're like, oh, where do I get the paper for this? Who do I talk to for this thing? But
Hmm.
eventually you just know. You'll see a reverse grip row, you'll see a deadlift, and you'll know the cues, right? You'll know how to position yourself. And so it's just with practice, with time, it'll become a
Yeah.
part of your knowledge base, basically.
Yeah, I understand that totally. And I don't mind that it's taken me a little bit longer. And I like that you say do everything slow and controlled instead
Yeah.
of just doing everything fast. Just, I'm always, my mindset is be where my feet are, be mindful of what I'm doing. Don't be thinking about the next thing I have to do. Just, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. And it feels, I feel really good about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a great reminder to have. I feel like a lot more people should do that. Um,
Mhm.
I definitely feel like that when I do more of my digital detoxes, for sure. It helps.
Yeah, yeah. I listened to your podcast about that, and uh, I haven't done that yet. I, I think I need to try with more than a little bit less time than like you did, like a whole weekend or something. But it's a very interesting concept to get off everything. Just get off everything.
Yeah, it
And
feels so good. I'm doing
mhm,
another one not next week, but the following week. So the first week of March, I'm completely offline for 7 days as well. Um,
wow.
well, actually, that's not true. I lied. I will be offline for 5 days because I got to fly to Miami for the vegan cruise.
Mm,
Um, so I obviously need my emails to my boarding pass and all that stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, I do one every 2 weeks. In May, I'm going to do 2 weeks in a row, um,
Wow.
just to see because like you said, just starting with one day is beautiful. Like literally deleting all the apps from your phone, from your iPad, not you like unplugging the TV, not using the TV or anything, and just learning to reappreciate boredom. Um,
Hmm.
I think there's such a beautiful things that come out of that. You're like, I'm bored, and you can't have your phone, and you can't watch TV, you can't be on your iPad and your computer, and you go, okay, well, what can I do? It's like, well, I can read a book. I can play cards with Ivy. We can go for a walk outside.
Hmm.
We can paint. We can draw. You just start to do things that you haven't done in a really long time since you're like a child, basically.
And no music.
Yeah, we'll have some music. Like again, my phone is still people can my parents can still call me, Ivy can still text me because sometimes just to go run errands or whatever. Now, from a safety standpoint, I want her to be able
Hmm.
to reach out to me, but I
Hmm.
don't like I delete emails, I delete Slack, I delete, Notion, Instagram, everything from my phone.
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
literally, yeah, we'll put some good music, dance, write.
Hmm.
We'll be like, what do we want to do that's going to be fun? And I feel like after the first 2 to 3 days of digital detox, it takes me 2 to 3 days to disconnect, where my brain is not thinking of like picking up the phone randomly, or touching my pockets because
Hmm.
I felt it vibrate or whatever. And after that 3 day, then I start to appreciate and be more present and just very much see the world for what it is and be present to like the birds and the trees and look at how you actually look up more, I think is the best
Hmm.
way to explain. Instead of like looking down, I look up more.
Yeah.
Um, and at the 5 day mark, I feel like a child again. I'm like, oh, let's go mountain biking in the mountains. Let's go camping. Let's go do these things. And just like I get a lot more of enjoyment out of life. And that happens at like day 4 or 5 of it. And that's why I want to go away
Hmm.
for 2 weeks in May because I haven't been able to have at the 5 day mark, I only have 2 days left to the digital detox.
Hmm.
Um, so 2 weeks, I think will allow me to do a lot more fun things for the next week.
Wow, that sounds really cool. Well, good luck. Yeah, I mean, have fun. Not good luck, just I know you'll have a great time.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's a test as well, just to see multiple things, right? See what happens if I leave for 2 weeks, because
Hmm.
obviously in the programs, we have multiple coaches and we have a whole team and everything.
Hmm.
But when I started to do the digital detox, it was like, okay, I left for 1 week. I came back. I went to the team. I was like, guys, what broke? And they're like, oh, this and this broke. I was like, great, let's hire someone to handle this or let's put a system in place. And I leave for another week. I'm like, hey guys, what broke? And they tell me. So I know I can leave for
Wow.
1 week. 2 weeks, I haven't tried it yet. So I'm gonna leave for 2 weeks and I'll come back and it's a test for the team. And I'll be like, hey guys, what broke? And then we'll have to
Hmm.
build something for that ultimately. So it's a mini way of testing
Yeah.
what we've built at Fit Vegan.
Yeah, I love your Fit Vegan program, and the podcast with your mom was fantastic. I listened to it on your, on the podcast, and then it was so great. I had to go to YouTube, and so I could see her, and
Mhm.
and then I took notes, because all her 10 suggestions, I
Yeah,
wanted to take notes from it because it's your podcasts are so great that I don't want to
thank
just
you.
listen to it. I want to see who you're interviewing, and then be able to take notes while I'm watching it because they're so it for me it's so impactful because I'm in that age range. In fact, I'm older, of course, than your mother, and it was just really cool to see her transformation. And she's so soft spoken, so sweet,
Yeah. She's she's very calm. I don't think I've ever seen my
very
mom get angry ever. She's very calm.
she's very calm. I just really enjoyed it, and you're at the top of my list for my podcast that I just really, really enjoy.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yeah, so
Appreciate that. Yeah. Hey, I don't know, like we've been at it for over 4 years now. It's crazy to think that we've done so many episodes.
yeah, and a friend of mine asked me what I was, I said I was just starting into this 3 day a week strength training with this fit vegan, and he said, you have a personal trainer? I said, well, it's kind of like a personal trainer. I said, you know, uh, and I didn't know how to explain you. So how
Yeah.
can what's a 60-second, 30-second sentence that I can explain Maxim and Fit Vegan,
Yeah, just
your business?
online fitness coaching and you come in, you get a full health team with, you a coach, nutritionist with Sarah. Some people can work with Dr. Lori if she wants to. She's available for our members. So basically, how I structured it is to have everything in one spot because we have Sarah in-house, because we have the coach in-house, and because we have Dr. Lori on the team, like
Mm-hmm.
traditionally people would have to go to the gym to get a personal trainer. And then the personal trainer, and then they would have to go somewhere like another center somewhere to get a nutritionist. And then they would have to go
Mm-hmm.
see their doctor. But those three people would never communicate to work on a plan for you.
Yeah.
For us, they can because I have all of them in house basically. Um, and also, none of them are going to hold you accountable. Like your personal trainer will do your session with you, but that's pretty much it. You're not going to get 4 group calls a week. You're not going to get a weekly check-in. You're not going to get a monthly call. You're not going to get, daily messages with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided to kind of bring everything in-house, all the
Mm-hmm.
things that are necessary for someone to get a good transformation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really awesome. I don't know how I discovered you. I know how I discovered you on Plant Powered People podcast. You were interviewed on the Plant Powered with Tony Okamoto and Michelle Kahn.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and that's where I first heard about you. And so I immediately found you on podcasts and listened to you and went, oh, this is this guy's good. I gotta check you out.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, Michelle and
Yeah.
Tony are awesome. It's in my plans to go up to them because they just live like up north from me a few hours,
Hmm.
and go
Hmm.
record in person with them for my show. Um,
Yeah.
so you might see them on the Fit Vegan podcast.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah. They're one of the ones I listen to a lot too, and Rip as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've
um
been on Rip as
yeah.
well. Rip, yeah, Rip, awesome
Hmm.
guy. He's doing really cool things with his food company. It was a
Hmm.
good move for him to do that.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really, really upped my protein since you talked about doing adding more protein, and just dropping your maintenance by 300
Yeah.
calories. Uh, and it's like, wow, this is more than I've ever thought that I can eat in protein, but I'm doing it. And it's like, okay, this is a great challenge. Every the night before I look at what am I going to have for tomorrow for breakfast and lunch. And it's really quite simple, actually.
Yeah.
So
And how
yeah,
do you feel more satiated?
I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really do. And in fact, it's like I have to make sure I eat breakfast early enough so I can be hungry enough for lunch, and eat lunch early enough so I can make sure I have that protein smoothie,
Yeah.
and it's a fine line trying to eat every 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, what a great problem to have if you're trying to lose weight.
I know, seriously. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not starving. And I just like that it's whole food plant-based, and it is.
Yeah.
It's so much better for me and for the environment, everything.
Yeah. Honestly, it's better for you, it's better for the environment, it's better for your health. And to be fair, it's cheaper. Like when I walk at Whole Foods and
Hmm.
I see some of those fake meats and stuff, like
Hmm.
what was there's like a mushroom chicken strip of some sort. And
Hmm.
for two little pieces, it was like $12. It was like
Yeah,
$6 just for one little thing. That's a whole meal. A whole food plant-based, you can make a meal for like 4 or 5 bucks. Yeah,
exactly.
it's getting expensive, those products.
Yeah, and it's like if I'm giving up chicken and beef, why do I want to have something that looks like or can try and taste like chicken or beef? I don't care to have that. And
Yeah.
it's got way too many ingredients. It's way too processed. I'm like, no, I don't want to, I'm not interested in that. So,
Yeah. And we're kind of a unique group of people in that, we're whole food plant-based, right? Like nutrition's like religion a little bit. There's like
mhm,
veganism, and then there's raw vegan, there's whole food plant-based, there's junk food vegan, and under whole food plant-based, there's like SOS, like there's different
mhm,
subcategories of the whole movement. And
mhm,
I know someone that owns one of those companies for some of the fake vegan products. And,
mhm,
they're like, Maxim, like, we're not even after the vegans, we're after the non-vegans, right? It's like, can we get those people to eat like a vegan steak versus a real steak, right? Because that would make a
mhm,
tremendous difference on the environment and on their health.
mhm,
Um, and so, like, I know that they're marketing to non-vegans for sure, but there's definitely a big section of vegans that are like, it's convenient. I think that's a big reason why people buy it is there's a convenience aspect to it. Because when you make Whole Foods, like you actually have to cook the dish, right?
mhm. Yeah,
Versus just kind of heat something up like real quick in the microwave or the pan,
yeah,
right? So there's
mhm,
definitely a convenience aspect of it for a lot of people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so I do meal delivery, whole harvest. You don't have to cook. You just bring it to your house.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
being retired, I definitely have plenty of time to prep foods and throw, and make my meals. So, and to me, it's so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah. And again, and I'm sure you were like a great cook before as well. So, I'm sure it helps to be able to do that. But yeah, some people are not great cooks like me. I'm a I'm a pan and air fryer guy. I keep it simple. I don't know if I guess some people don't have Instagram or Facebook and don't follow me on those platforms, but on Instagram I posted a photo and literally I have a big air fryer with two sections. So I just put a full block of tofu cut into cubes. I put half a sweet potato with a bunch of green beans and I shoved that in the air fryer for 20 minutes. Had a good meal after that. It was very simple.
Was it was
Like,
the was it tofu's crispy?
yeah, it was crispy. Obviously, I could have cooked it longer, but I didn't want to wait longer than 20 minutes. So I made it crispy enough
Hmm.
for the amount of time that I wanted to wait.
All right, I have to try that because I have an air fryer. So, and I don't
Yeah.
like really mushy tofu. Like I'm not really into the scrambled tofu. It
Yeah.
just doesn't taste. It's too soft. So
Yeah.
I need to try the air fryer.
So the trick for the tofu, several things you can do. You can freeze it
Hmm.
and then thaw it out. It changes the texture of it. It makes it spongier.
Hmm.
And then you have to cut it into smaller cubes. So if you
Okay.
actually want the tofu to be more crispy, you need to have smaller cubes because the bigger you're going to do, just the outside is going to get crispy and the inside is going to stay soft like tofu. So you have to
Hmm.
cut it in pretty small cubes to get the whole thing to be crispy. And then I would just kind of stir it halfway through it just to make sure it gets air fried
Hmm.
evenly.
Do you marinate it before you put it in the air fryer?
No, I'm not that patient. I Honestly, I finished working and I'm like, all right, we're shoving in the air fryer for 20 minutes. I'm walking the dog and I'm coming back and the food's ready.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to do that. I have
Yeah.
some tofu in my freezer.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
cooking doesn't need to be complex.
Mm-mm.
People, I think people make it out to be more complex because they think that they will lack some type of nutrient or they have to, some people still think that they have to combine their amino acids, like the whole bean and rice conversation. Um, you don't
Mm-hmm.
need to worry about that. If you just focus on diversity and make a good meal, it's easy. And people still worry about that are not vegan, just like, hey, there's no chicken or meat basically on the dish, and I don't feel like it's a complete meal. But when you've
Mm-hmm.
been vegan long enough, you see structuring a meal very differently, basically.
Yeah, I agree. And my husband's not vegan, but he'll
Yeah.
eat some of the meals I do. If he, but if I just want to do a quick go-to meal, which is, grains, beans or tofu, and lots of vegetables and some kind of a little sauce over it, um, that's not his thing, but it's my great go-to.
Yeah. It's like that's what I like. We found at one point we've tested it out. We had an average of like a 10 to 12 pound fat loss for the partner of someone that was in the program. Just
Mm,
the indirect impact of eating a certain way and seeing the partner work out and maybe jumping in from time to time. Um,
mm-hmm,
so it's just a proof that your environment affects you. Because if a partner can lose some weight indirectly, yeah, it says a lot about, the people you hang out with and how people talk in your community.
yeah, that's great.
Uh, let me see here. I think I had some notes here for I'm recording I think not today on Saturday. I think I'm recording a bunch of videos for Instagram and for YouTube. But there was one thing like since you're on here, you know what I realized from us being on this live together? Because your camera's turned off, it just looks like I'm talking to myself on YouTube, which is funny. It's fine. Yeah. So for the people there's people that are watching live right now. If you guys want to, again, join the newsletter. I post a link so that you can jump on there live and ask questions and talk. You guys don't have to have your camera turned on. Carolyn doesn't have her camera turned on, but I just looked at the YouTube clip and it's just me talking to myself. So I hope, yeah, I'm sure people can hear your voice. It would not make sense if they couldn't hear your voice, or else I just look crazy this whole time, just answering my own questions. But yeah, one of them was like I'm make a video on people taking action because so like you took action. There's a reason you're going through this process right now, but a lot of people
Mm-hmm,
just they read the book, they listen to the podcast, they watch the videos, and they know a lot of things. Um, we've had a massive influx of people book calls to join our program this week. I would say usually the amount of calls we have in a month, we have 5 times that amount this week alone. Um,
wow.
so we're very busy this week, and Ivy's in the Philippines, so that means I have to step in to take some of these calls, which I haven't
Mm.
done in a long time. But yeah, on the calls, what I'm hearing from people is like, "Well, I already know all these things." I was like, "Yeah, but you're not doing it." Like you can have all this knowledge about nutrition, and people's like, "Oh yeah, I know how to work out." I was like, "Okay, like personal training level certification?" Is like, no, I had a personal trainer for 2 months. I'm like, but it's different. You didn't learn any, you didn't learn everything in 2 months. Um,
Mhm.
and so yeah, just for the people, again, respectfully, people that think that know it all but don't have the results that they want, the step that's missing is taking action on the things that you know. Um, and honestly, Kellen, you'll probably realize this as well. Like again, I know you listen to podcasts. I'm sure you've read some books about plant-based eating and fitness and all those
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
You're going to learn way more through you doing this than through reading or listening to a show.
Yeah.
Because once you do, you're like, oh, when I structure the meals this way, from what I've learned or read or been told, and I work out, then my body gets tighter and I start to feel it. And you start to have what I call body knowledge. You're like, oh,
Mhm.
I know that when I do this, it feels this way. This is what it looks like to actually do the thing. And that's how you get
Mhm.
results. So many people are stuck in the loop of watching, listening, reading, taking information just a little bit more before they take action. But
Mhm.
you learn, yeah, it doesn't change your life, which is the whole
Yeah.
point of taking in the information.
Yeah. And I think one of your things that you said was um, take like
Imperfect action.
done is better than perfect. Yeah, action is better than being like so perfect. I forget exactly what your phrase
Yeah,
was.
I say a lot of things. It's okay. I say take imperfect action,
Mhm.
progression over perfection, consistency compounds.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's the whole. If I can just get people to take action, like if I have a superpower, taking people to take action, would
Hmm.
make a huge difference in their life because you just learn so much more through doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, um, I have like, yeah, I have to basically I have to go to a gym now.
Okay.
Little morning gym session. But yeah, Carolyn, I appreciate you for jumping on. The people that are watching live on YouTube, I appreciate you guys listening. And yeah, I in the newsletter this weekend, because I already wrote it, I'm gonna go live next week at the same time as well. So for those of you that
Okay.
want to join live, again, I'll post a Zoom link. You can just jump on. Get very casual. So I still have like bags under my eyes. I'm still like I'm still waking up. And next week will be it'll be my only time because then the next one I'll be able to do is going to be the third week of March, just because I'm going on my digital detox and I'm going on a vegan cruise, and I'm not too confident with the internet connection on the vegan
Hmm.
cruise, or I'm going to be out in the middle of the ocean. So next week, and then probably like at the end of March, I'll probably do another one. So
Another
yeah,
coffee break.
yeah, exactly. Another
Yeah.
coffee
Okay.
break. And I'll create a
Okay.
playlist for it on YouTube so we can kind of like stack them up and people can watch
Okay.
the past ones. But yeah, Carolyn, I appreciate you jumping on. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
Um,
You too.
Tomorrow on Friday, actually. So you know I have my group call with the members at 2 p.m.
Hmm.
PST.
Hmm.
So 1 hour before then, I got Robert Cheek leading a training as well
Hmm.
for our inner circle, which you get for free as a part of the program.
Hmm.
We started the new inner circle thing. It's only $47 a month, and basically people get weekly group calls. And I have a vegan celebrity every third week of the month. So I got Robert this tomorrow. I got Dr. Matthew Nagra next month. And then I think I got Dr. Joel Furman the following month. And then I got Colleen Patrick Boudreau the following month.
Ah,
Like,
I've listened to her.
yeah, we have some
Hmm.
cool guests lined up. I'm actually like using my connections now to connect with cool people. But yeah, so we have some awesome people coming to lead live trainings for I say our the inner circle, and you guys get the inner circle for free as a part of the program. So yeah, if you want to come at
Hmm.
1 p.m. PST tomorrow,
Yeah. It's on my
uh,
calendar.
oh, awesome. So yeah, Robert's going to be there. I'm going to be on there, and then I'll lead the group call after for the members. So you can say hi to Robert. And I know that we announced on Monday that Robert was in the group,
Hmm.
and people thought that Robert was like on the team. Robert's actually doing the program. We're actually helping Robert lose fat and build muscle. So we're
Hmm.
actually coaching him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So you'll see him on a
Okay.
lot of group calls.
Great. Okay.
Awesome. Well, kind of enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow on the group
Okay.
calls.
Thanks so much. Okay. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye-bye. All right. And for everyone that's still listening here live on the YouTube, I appreciate you guys for jumping on. Let me just see here. Up here. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for jumping on. Again, we'll do this next week. So again, down below, there's a link to sign up for the newsletter for free. We send 2 emails a week. On Wednesday, I try to share lessons and valuable tips from members' transformation. And then there's a recipe included in there, a fit vegan recipe. So you can start to eat like a fit vegan. And then Saturday is just like an overall newsletter of, the cancer patients that we support, the past videos from the week. There's always a new lesson. I always have a message to share. So, and you can sign up for that down below and then grab the link and see us next week. All right. Enjoy your day, everyone. I'm going to work out.